Good morning and welcome to the annual Fall Assembly Address. It was so nice to see so many of you at the fun run this morning here on our beautiful Biddeford campus. And man, what weather, huh? This is like special ordered, a great omen for the coming academic year. So this event, along with the first night celebration ceremony that we do with the incoming students for our new undergraduates, our white coat ceremonies, our homecoming event, our annual holiday ceremonies, and commencement, these are all amongst my favorite times at UNE, our favorite traditions. And such traditions are important to connecting us to our students, to one another, to our past, and also to our vision as we look forward towards the future. So before I begin my remarks in earnest, let's dispense with one little piece of business, which is I'm pleased to announce that UNE will offer 2 gifted holidays over the winter break this year. We'll be closed, so thank you. We will be closed the full week of December 25th, reopening Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. And that will provide us all some time for a continuous holiday celebration in which to just enjoy ourselves and relax and enjoy some much-deserved time off. So thank you very much. And I have one more remark this morning, one more announcement before getting into the substance of my remarks. We have an incredibly special anniversary this year. Kathy Mahan, who works in student financial services, hit her 50th year. 50th year. And there she is. Kathy, please stand. Please stand. So for those of you who may not know her, Kathy is described as the unofficial mayor of the Portland campus, and she is always willing to help and do whatever is needed to support our students. She is known for being dependable, honest, loyal, and always puts students first in her work. And to honor her 50 years of service, we're going to do something truly special for Kathy. We're going to give her her own dedicated parking space on the Portland campus. So, and we all know how valuable the commodity of parking is on the Portland campus. And so, Kathy, congratulations, and thank you so much for your many years of service. You really are an inspiration to all of us. So thank you again. Okay, now, back to the importance of connecting our past to our future. This is the theme of my remarks this morning. We find ourselves at an inflection point, navigating our way from our humble past to our ambitious future. As you may have noticed during the 6 years since I've joined UNE, I normally have my sights squarely set on the future. I don't spend a lot of time looking backwards. However, sometimes it's important to pause briefly to reflect on where we've been so that we can chart our course forward. When I arrived at UNE in the summer of 2017, one of my first tasks was to initiate a comprehensive strategic planning process. We all spent the 2017-18 academic year working together on developing our plan with countless meetings and brainstorming sessions and feedback on many drafts. I was pleased to have such widespread participation amongst our faculty, professional staff, students, and trustees in that process. The resulting plan, Our World, Our Future, was approved by our Board of Trustees in November of 2018. We all agreed that the plan should not collect dust sitting on a shelf like so many such efforts do, but rather should be a living roadmap, regularly updated as we made progress on specific initiatives and as new initiatives emerged. And what a roadmap it's been. Our plan has served us well to guide our strategic work over the past 5 years. I'm so proud of what we've accomplished together, and I'm very grateful to each of you in the role that you've played in our success. So before I highlight a few of our achievements, it's important to ground the conversation in our history and to appreciate just how young we really are as an institution. As you know, our institution, our university, is the product of the merger of three precursor institutions: St. Francis College, the New England College of Osteopathic Medicine, and Westbrook College, each of which faced its own unique challenges. The UNE we know today truly emerged on July 31st, 1996, with the integration of Westbrook College. Although our roots go way back, all the way back to 1831, in fact, the modern UNE that we know today is really only 27 years old. In human terms, it's like we're developmentally somewhere between an adolescent and a young adult, officially of legal age, but with much more growth yet to come. We've emerged from our humble beginnings. We've grown rapidly to become Maine's largest private university. We've developed an identity and we've staked out ambitious plans, but we're still finding our way to full-fledged adulthood. The past 5 years have been a remarkable period in our development. We've accomplished far too much for me to describe in detail here today. Nevertheless, I would like to share just a few highlights that demonstrate our innovative spirit and hard work. As you know, our strategic plan consists of an articulation of our mission, vision, values, along with 6 high-level priorities with various initiatives that follow from each of those priorities. The first priority focuses on fostering exceptional teaching and learning. We set ourselves the goal of reconsidering all aspects of our core mission of educating students. With the support of a grant from the Davis Education Foundation, we embarked on the difficult work of revising our undergraduate curriculum. This was a multi-year, faculty-led effort that drew on the talents and wisdom of the faculty from both undergraduate colleges. Our resulting new curriculum provides greater flexibility for each student to craft a unique, tailored path through the curriculum while also ensuring that they acquire the deep disciplinary knowledge and the skills in their chosen area of study, as well as the professional competencies and habits of mind to become lifelong learners to meet the challenges of our rapidly changing world. The Davis Grant also supported our Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning in crafting 2 new initiatives for the faculty: a Teacher Scholars Program and a Faculty Learning Communities. Both of these programs are now mainstays of CETL's array of offerings to support adoption of new and innovative pedagogical approaches grounded in the evolving science of teaching and learning. Our adoption of new technologies and pedagogical innovations in the classroom was accelerated by the exigencies created by the pandemic. Responding to complaints from both students and faculty about our learning management system, or LMS, our faculty partnered with the Provost's Office and the Office of Information Technology Services to stand up a new LMS, which has proven to be much better suited to serving our students. We've also expanded our experiential learning opportunities outside the classroom. For example, we've significantly upgraded and expanded our interprofessional simulation facilities and programming. We added more opportunities for students to participate in faculty-led research. We expanded our internship offerings. We formed new relationships and deepened existing ones with clinical partners for our health profession programs. And we've increased opportunities for students in our Office of Innovation and PD Merrill Makerspace to develop their creative ideas as far as they want to take them. In fact, in the 4 years that we've participated in the Greenlight Maine Collegiate Challenge business pitch competition, UNE innovators have already had 2 first-place finishes. The plan's second priority focuses on increased enrollment, progress to graduation, and lifelong learning. Here, too, we've made great progress. As we've discussed many times, we live in a very challenging time in higher education. Demographic changes, especially the steady decline in the number of college-bound high school graduates in the Northeast, make it difficult for all but the most selective institutions just to maintain current levels of enrollment, much less to grow. Many of our peers have seen dramatic declines in enrollments. Many have closed, and many more will follow. Public and governmental skepticism about the value proposition of higher education has reached an historic high. Against this backdrop, we've managed to hold our own and even to grow in some areas. Sure, we've seen declines in some areas, in some programs, but we've also been able to pivot to grow in other areas. Central to these efforts has been the development of new, market-aligned academic offerings, along with revisions to existing programs that prepare students for strong career prospects. We've developed new undergraduate programs in criminology, aquaculture, special education, data science, accelerated nursing, among other areas. We've developed new graduate programs in areas such as aquaculture, nurse anesthesia, emergency management, and clinical anatomy, just to name a few. We've expanded our online offerings, including by adding stackable certificate programs and non-credit bearing credentials in areas like emergency management, health informatics, and online teaching, the kinds of offerings demanded by today's adult learners. We've embraced our undergraduate students who've not yet decided on an academic major by developing the GUST, or Guided Undergraduate Studies program. While we've had a bustling Portland campus in the summer months due to our year-round graduate programs, the Biddeford campus has historically been quieter. Recognizing the great potential to grow our academic program footprint on the beautiful Biddeford campus throughout the summer, we've launched a partnership between UNE Online and CAS to expand our summer course offerings, and the response has been remarkable. I'll elaborate on that in just a few minutes. Many of our graduate programs have also experienced unprecedented competition for students in recent years due to a proliferation of new programs across the country and, in many cases, a declining national pool of applicants. While historically we did not need to market our flagship programs in our health professions, that is no longer the case. We have therefore made significant investments in our graduate admissions office, and in collaboration with our communications team, we've implemented a comprehensive array of new marketing, recruitment, and prospective student engagement strategies. We've also created attractive curriculum pathways that allow our undergraduate students to earn graduate degrees on an accelerated timeline. We've also developed many programs to support our students once they arrive on campus. For example, we've completely reimagined and made significant investments in our various student success initiatives, from professional advising to tutoring to mental health counseling. We've launched an innovative program in 2022 to support our first-generation students. We created a bridge orientation program to better support transfer students into our dental hygiene program. We've continued to refine our early alert system to identify at-risk students. We made ongoing refinements to our first-year experience program. We joined the Open Education Network, an alliance of colleges, universities, and other organizations working together to promote the use of open resources, thereby reducing textbook expenses for students. Recognizing the importance of athletics to attracting and retaining students, we've launched several new athletic programs and constructed new facilities, including Blue Storm Stadium and Blue Bolt Field. Our student athletes routinely outperform our general student body, both academically, and they also tend to persist at higher rates. The third priority of the plan is focused research and scholarship. From humble beginnings, UNE is now becoming a research powerhouse. Indeed, we are now ranked as the #1 college or university in Maine with respect to NIH funding of biomedical research. We were awarded the second and third phases of UNE's first ever COBRE grant, meaning our COBRE program has now brought in almost $26 million in research funding to UNE and has resulted in over $32 million in additional new research awards by UNE investigators. Our total research expenditures over the 5 years of the strategic plan have exceeded $74 million. And we recently submitted a new COBRE proposal that has received a very promising initial review from the NIH. Through the work of Professor Sri Mohan in pharmacy, UNE was awarded its first 2 patents, which focus on biomarker development. And our scholarly accomplishments extend beyond biomedical research. Our social scientists and clinicians have made significant scientific discoveries and professional innovations, and our humanities faculty have published numerous books and papers that have made national and in some cases international headlines as they enlighten us about the human experience. Our research growth has led to a reclassification of UNE in 2018 by the Carnegie Foundation from a master's institution to a doctoral research high-activity institution, also known as an R2 institution. UNE was one of only 10 universities nationwide, and it was the only university in New England to rise from the former category to the latter. One thing that really stands out at UNE is the extent to which our research includes students. Our most recent estimates are that a whopping 41% of UNE undergraduates participate in faculty-led research, compared with an average of 23% nationally. Unlike most research universities, in which undergraduate students rarely work closely with faculty investigators, our students work side by side with their faculty mentors in the lab, in the field, and in the clinic. Indeed, every active researcher at UNE has students working closely with them. Sometimes something that can't be said for most of our peer institutions. As just one example, our Center for Excellence in Public Health has not only brought in $41.5 million in extramural funding over the past 5 years, resulting in 51 peer-reviewed publications, but has involved 319 students over that period. Our students are doing important and innovative work, ranging from optimizing the production and harvesting of kelp on our experimental aquaculture farm in Saco Bay, to designing biosensor applications for biomanufacturing, to understanding how children learn to read. Working with our business program, we've stood up the PD Merrill Makerspace and the Associated Office of Innovation to support students' entrepreneurial efforts. Based on the resounding success of these business-focused initiatives and our strong position in the market, the Board of Trustees just approved the creation of a business college at UNE. At a time when other institutions of higher education are hunkering down, UNE continues to grow and invest in areas of opportunity. Fostering a welcoming, inclusive, and vibrant community represents the fourth pillar of our strategic plan. One of the first things that struck me when I arrived to UNE was how warm and welcoming this community was to me and to Len. I was likewise impressed by how supportive our students are to one another. While this aspect of our culture was already strong, we need to ensure that every member of our community, regardless of their identity or background, feel that they belong. This imperative is especially critical given the divisive times in which we live. We've made much progress to foster and celebrate the diversity of our community. We formed grassroots diversity, equity, and inclusion committees in each of our colleges and in many business units. We created the role of Assistant Provost for DEI to coordinate these various efforts, and Shannon Zlatkowski is doing amazing work in this role in collaboration with many DEI committees and other groups within the UNE community. This past winter, I became the first college or university president in Maine to sign on to the National CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion Coalition. Our Human Resources Department recently partnered with the University Faculty Assembly's DEI Committee to incorporate guidelines for recruiting diverse faculty and professional staff into our hiring policies and procedures. We've established new affinity groups for students, including the Brothers of Color, a Muslim student association, and a Hillel chapter, just to name a few. We've increased celebrations of international cultures through events like the new annual Culture Fest. We've invested in a new space for the Cultural Exchange Lounge. Lynn and I have been honored to participate in student-led marches for Black Lives and for women's rights, and we've been proud to carry the UNE banner at Portland's Pride parades. We've seen remarkable growth in the number of students from diverse backgrounds who have chosen to study at UNE. For on-campus students, the percentage of students who identify as persons of color in relationship to total enrollment increase between 2018 and 2022, including both for undergraduate and graduate students. In 2018, 7% of our undergraduate students self-identified as students of color, growing to 11% this past fall. While we focus on traditional aspects of diversity such as race, ethnicity, gender identity, and gender orientation, and neurodiversity, our DEI efforts cast a broader net than most of our peers to include things like geographic, first generation, and socioeconomic status. For example, over 30% of UNE undergraduate students are, like me, the first in their families to attend college. These students face many unique challenges. We've established programs, including things like a special targeted orientation program for first-generation students and their families to support their success. And importantly, we have committed ourselves to fostering one of the most important and often neglected forms of diversity on college campuses today, viewpoint diversity. As I've discussed in previous addresses to this community, the very essence of the Academy requires that multiple perspectives to pressing questions and issues be on offer, and that these be discussed and debated through robust yet civil discourse. Yet most colleges and universities are failing to uphold this most sacred of values, increasingly becoming monocultures of a kind of ideological orthodoxy. We've planted a flag as an institution that won't shy away from addressing the hard questions and doing so thoughtfully and constructively. We established a series of web pages called the Marketplace of Ideas to advance this initiative. And if you haven't visited these pages recently, I encourage you to do so on our website. Meanwhile, Assistant Provost Shannon Zlatkowski and Director of Intercultural Engagement, Andrea Paredes, are facilitating listening circles with incoming students to introduce them to the practice of constructive discourse. And we began the President's Forum program to bring speakers representing opposing sides of a timely issue together to have a moderated conversation with one another and with members of our own community as well as the public. We've held events on topics such as gun control, the ethics of profiting from climate change, and policing in America. Our most recent event, held last spring, brought together two well-respected scholars to discuss issues around transgender women competing on women's sports teams. I've been consistently so impressed by the engagement and participation of our students, in particular in these events. Now, you may remember that last year at this time, I announced a new recognition to support these efforts, the President's Award for Constructive Discourse. Recall that one award will be given each year to a faculty member and another to a member of the professional staff who go out of their way to support constructive, thoughtful discourse on difficult or controversial topics. Each award comes with a $1,000 cash payment. I appreciate very much all of those who responded to Provost Mahon's call for nominations back in April. We received many worthy, impressive nominations, and this morning I'm happy to announce the inaugural recipients for each of these awards. The Faculty Award goes to Professor Andrew Rotundo. Andrew, is Andrew here? Can you stand up and stand up to be recognized? Andrew is an associate teaching professor of philosophy in the College of Arts and Sciences. He is intentional and planful in encouraging thoughtful discourse in his classes. To quote a student who nominated him for this award, in his, quote, in his debating ethics course, students are encouraged to challenge or defend ideas that they do not themselves hold. The class teaches students how to have intellectual conversations about current topics and, most importantly, how to disagree with one another in a healthy way, end quote. Andrew also serves as the academic advisor to UNE's Philosophy Club, which he helped resuscitate in 2020 following a period of dormancy. Andrew and his fellow philosophy colleague, Professor John Waterman, model a lively debate for the club each semester on topics such as the ethics around voting and the future of transhumanism. Andrew regularly attends the Center for Global Humanities lectures, and he encourages his students to join him there. So again, please join me in celebrating Professor Andrew Rotano for this offer. Thank you. And the Professional Staff Award this year is given to Mark Ebenfield. Mark, can you stand? Where is he? There he is, right back there. In his role as director of our Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, Mark has worked hard to provide faculty and professional staff with the tools needed to promote difficult topics, but conversations around difficult topics both inside and outside the classroom. He has held multiple training sessions through the center related to this theme. The announcement of one of these sessions nicely captures the spirit of these gatherings, and I quote, we aren't promising one-size-fits-all quick fixes or perfect recipes, but we will create a respectful, collaborative, and critical learning space in which to develop more comfort with these topics. He also organized a document containing useful resources on how to promote constructive conversations on difficult topics. He is working on a foundation grant proposal to support even additional efforts. So please join me in congratulating Mark for these outstanding efforts to help both faculty and professional staff. Thank you, Mark. And I want to add that I'm grateful not just to Andrew and Mark, but to everyone else who is intentional about promoting viewpoint diversity and civil discourse at UNE. I already look forward to receiving next year's nominations, so please keep up the great work. Now, the fifth priority of our strategic plan is enhancing engagement with local, regional, and global partners. Once again, we've made significant progress here. We've enhanced our study abroad program in Tangier through better internship experiences in the local community there. We've established a new partnership in France to offer a better experience for our students. We've established new student exchange partnerships with 2 universities in Iceland. In developing a focus on the blue economy and the global north more broadly, we were accepted into the University of the Arctic Consortium, and we established UNE North, the Center for North Atlantic Studies, to support these efforts. It's no wonder that UNE students now study abroad at over 4 times the national average. Closer to home, we've significantly increased research partnerships with regional entities, including the Maine Health Institute for Research and the Jackson Laboratory, the Mount Desert Island Biological Laboratory, and the Rue Institute, just to name a few. And speaking of the Rue Institute, we've developed accelerated joint programs with them. We've also developed enhanced articulation agreements with local community colleges, with the University of Maine School of Law, and most recently, with Cheney University of Pennsylvania, the nation's first historically black university, just to name a few. Our students engage in ever more meaningful internship experiences. Indeed, the vast majority of UNE undergraduates engage in credit-bearing internships, and all of our graduate health profession students engage in a broad range of clinical training activities in hospitals and clinics throughout the state and the region. UNE students teach in our local schools, offer healthcare services in our communities, and support businesses throughout the state. The final priority of our plan is to continue to build a strong and sustainable resource base. In essence, this is what empowers our work on all of the other priorities. You may be familiar with the adage, no margin, no mission. It's a simple fact that our work requires resources. Through careful financial stewardship, we have significantly increased UNE's net assets at a time when many colleges are running budget deficits. We've refinanced our debt under very favorable terms. We've significantly increased our fundraising, bringing in the largest single gift in UNE's history while doubling the rate of our annual giving. These efforts have been recognized externally by the major credit rating agencies. For example, Moody's Investor Services has twice upgraded our credit rating, which is highly unusual in this time of fiscal stress within the higher education sector. Our efforts with respect to this priority extend beyond mere fiscal management. They also include optimizing all aspects of our operations. As I mentioned earlier, we've stood up a new learning management system as well as other software upgrades, and we are now poised to begin a major upgrade to our enterprise resource planning system, Banner. We've worked hard to make UNE an even better place to work. We've engaged in a benchmarking process of employee salaries over the past 2 years, and we've invested over $2.5 million in additional wages for 315 faculty and professional staff members beyond the standard cost of living increase to bring them up to a competitive wage. We've instituted a flexible work policy. We've enhanced our employee benefits package. Our human resources colleagues organized a management training program known as Lead with Impact, in which 80 of our colleagues have already participated. These are just a few of the ways that our leadership team and the HR department have enhanced the professionalism of their work to support us all. And we've also begun the process of improving our employee goal setting and evaluation procedures, beginning with automating the process. This will set the stage to allow recognition of truly exceptional performance with additional compensation in the form of a bonus program on top of the standard annual wage increase. While we were initially poised to roll this system out in this coming academic year, we received feedback from many of you that we weren't quite ready to do that yet, and we needed to first develop more robust training and tools for goal setting and performance evaluation. We heard you, and so the coming year will serve as a sort of test run of our new processes. We will delay full implementation of this new practice for a year until the 24-25 academic year. And as we grow our resource base and support our employees, we are mindful of our responsibility to be good stewards of our shared environment. We've made good progress on reducing our carbon footprint, for example, through a new electrical contract that halves our emissions, the addition of solar panels on our campuses, and adding electric vehicle charging stations. In 2021, our Board of Trustees voted to reallocate the university's endowment into a portfolio that minimized carbon-related investments. And as I said earlier, this snapshot doesn't begin to do justice to the full scale, the full scope of all of the work we've done over the past 5 years. But hopefully it does give you a sense of how much we've accomplished together. And there's one more piece of the context that I'd be remiss not to mention, the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas most of our peers merely went into survival mode during the pandemic, we continued to move forward on our strategic work. Unlike the vast majority of our peers, we kept our faculty and professional staff whole during the pandemic, avoiding layoffs and not cutting anyone's salary or benefits. In turn, our community worked hard, not only serving our students during that very difficult time, but also improving moving our strategic work forward. And as we reflect on our progress to date, there's a key thread that runs throughout each of the 6 priorities of our plan, providing transformational learning experiences to our students. In one way or another, directly or indirectly, everything we do touches on that overarching theme. It will be imperative that we keep our eye on that North Star as we turn our attention to the next steps in our strategic work. Over a year ago, we began contemplating the next steps following the conclusion of the plan this November. The consensus of the faculty, professional staff, leadership team, and Board of Trustees, and myself, was that the 6 high-level priorities of the plan remain just as relevant as the day we adopted them. These priorities are broad enough to encompass many new initiatives, some of which we couldn't have even foreseen 5 years ago, yet focused enough to channel our collective energies. We agreed that it would be pointless to scrap the plan and start anew when there was so much work remaining in those areas. Instead, what was called for was a refresh of the plan. That is, an updating of the specific initiatives and action steps within each of the 6 high-level priorities. So last fall, we initiated this renewal process. This has been a highly iterative undertaking with evolving drafts that incorporated comments from trustees, faculty, and professional staff. In the coming weeks, we will also seek input from our students while providing ongoing opportunities for you all to continue offering further feedback. I won't attempt to describe the many initiatives we already have on deck, but allow me just to highlight a few. We will develop new academic programs and will make any needed adjustments to our organizational structure to ensure their success. As I mentioned earlier, we recently announced the formation of a College of Business to support growth of our business programs. We conceptualize business as a sort of bridge discipline that leverages the strengths in other program areas, thereby synergistically advancing both. At the same time, we elevated our education program into school status, building on the recent growth there and the possibility of further growth in that area. Our arts and sciences faculty have been hard at work this summer developing plans for exciting new majors in computer science and statistics. Our marine programs are developing ambitious plans to build on their recent remarkable success. And we're planning to create an honors college to attract and engage the most academically ambitious undergraduate students. In addition to new majors, we will update the curriculum, pedagogy, or both in existing academic programs to ensure that they become even more competitive. For example, it's becoming clear that adult learners in graduate health profession programs are increasingly demanding hybrid formats in which didactic coursework is completed online, complemented by face-to-face clinical instruction. Some of our competitors are already rapidly moving in this direction, which has already contributed to a decrease in applications for some of our programs. To remain viable, we must pivot our model to meet this new reality. Our Master of Social Work program has seen recent growth after taking just this approach. We will closely monitor the regional marketplace for opportunities to grow. Over the past couple of years, we've grown increasingly aware of lost opportunities to educate our students over the summer. Many students have been taking courses elsewhere, then transferring their credits back into UNE. This summer, through the leadership of the Provost's office, including both Provost Mahon and Associate Provost Karen Pardue, and in partnership with the College of Arts and Sciences, the College of Professional Studies, and the Registrar's Office, we embarked on a project to significantly increase our summer undergraduate offerings, both online and here on the Biddeford campus. And the results have been very encouraging. The number of courses offered this summer grew from 49 last year to 120 this summer, nearly 150% increase. And the number of students taking classes grew from 738 last year to 1,127 this summer, which exceeds a 50% increase. Conversely, the number of our students transferring credits from elsewhere into UNE decreased from 427 last year to 270 this year, representing a reduction of 36%. We will build on this success by offering even more courses next summer and beyond, and by marketing our summer sessions more aggressively. Now, as we prepare to move the College of Osteopathic Medicine to its new home within the spectacular Harold and Bibi Alphonse Center for Health Sciences, I'm excited to announce that we will take this opportunity to rename the Portland campus the UNE Portland Campus for the Health Sciences. We will also rename the remarkably productive Center of Excellence in Collaborative Education to the Center to Advance Interprofessional Education and Practice in order to redouble our emphasis on interprofessional education across our diverse healthcare programs. These adjustments will allow us to properly celebrate the Portland campus as a true hub of interprofessional healthcare, education, and research that is quite literally unique throughout New England. At the same time, we will strategically leverage the space vacated by COM in Biddeford, on the Biddeford campus, to enhance our academic programming and to elevate our student experience, to grow our research agenda, and to optimize our business operations on this campus. We will transform all business operations to make them more user-friendly and more efficient for students and others. We will move our core services to the cloud to optimize operations and to enhance cybersecurity. We will continue our efforts to make UNE an even more welcoming place for the diverse tapestry of people that comprise our community. We will continue to find new ways to foster a robust marketplace of ideas, setting the standard for higher education for how to tackle the hard problems facing our society through robust, thoughtful, civil discourse. And as you may have heard, we have been in the quiet phase of a comprehensive fundraising campaign that began when we received the $30 million gift from the Harold Alfond Foundation. I want to take the opportunity today to launch that campaign internally so that all of you can know about the incredible fundraising work that has been going on in institutional advancement, and that so you can understand our vision for UNE's future. Len and I have already made a pledge to the campaign, as have our deans, trustees, and many others in our community. So at this time, I'd like to invite Alicia Faraday, our Vice President for Institutional Advancement, to tell you briefly just a little bit more about the campaign. Alicia?
Thank you, James. It's an honor to stand here today among my UNE colleagues to announce Doing Our Part, the campaign for UNE. As you can see, the campaign takes a page from our marketing campaign and turns the phrase back on UNE's supporters to ask them to do their part to support this incredible university. The campaign, in part, is about building the new health sciences facility in Portland, but it's so much more. We raise funds from outside foundations, from alumni, and from donors who are intrigued by our mission and vision. And we are asking how those of us within the university can do our part to support this campaign. That's not necessarily about making a gift, though we, of course, would love for faculty and professional staff to do so. It's really about being a cheerleader for UNE in your daily lives and talking to those within your circles about the inspiring work that goes on here and the impact UNE has on its students. We also want you to join us in celebrating our milestones. And there's an important one I want all of you to attend. Homecoming, September 23rd, is the official public launch at the halftime of the football game. We would love to have you all there to announce this exciting initiative to the world. Thank you, and see you there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Alicia. And I will have to say is I was hoping that they were going to let me at halftime for the official public announcement of the campaign at the homecoming game to parachute into the football field. But unfortunately, Lynn vetoed that idea, so what can I say? But Alicia, I really appreciate your terrific leadership of our fundraising efforts. I began my remarks by referring to important traditions that bring us together, and homecoming is definitely one of those events, and I really do hope to see as many of you as possible at homecoming. So as I said before, the projects I've outlined here are just a few, just a small taste, if you will, of our plans for the next 5 years. And as we set strategic goals and work diligently to realize them, we will be ever vigilant for new opportunities that will arise that we've not yet even been able to contemplate. One thing is clear: we cannot cease our forward momentum. We must be thoughtful and deliberate, and we must act with a sense of urgency. We must innovate at every level. We must develop new academic programs and rethink existing ones. We must forge ahead with groundbreaking research and scholarship. We must look for better ways to meet our students where they are and to foster their growth into productive citizens and fulfilled adults. We must better tell our remarkable story to those who are unfamiliar with our community. The headwinds facing higher education are already stiff, and they will only grow, and we become complacent at our peril. I cannot stress enough how much our ability to thrive requires all of us, every one of you here today, to embrace our shared mission and to do our part to advance our work. We must all step outside the status quo to self-reflect and to embrace change. I am so grateful to each of you for the part that you've played so far in our success. And I look forward to working with you as we reach for even greater heights going forward. For UNE to be able to reach our aspirations of enriching the lives of our students while promoting the health of individuals, communities, and our planet, we must all do our part to innovate boldly, creatively, and urgently. Thank you very much. Thank you.